Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach good communication, relationship development, and parenting through the lens of self-government all over the world. And in this video, we're going to be talking about a skill that you can use in order to have the most respectful kids in the neighborhood. The skill that I'm going to be teaching you today is a skill called disagreeing appropriately. This is one of the 4 basic skills of self-government. In fact, the 4 basic skills are following instructions, accepting no answers, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. The disagree appropriately skill is by far the favorite for most people, and you'll see why. In this video, we're not only going to learn the skill and why it works so well, but we are also going to meet my friend Sienna, who is in her teens, and she is going to help us learn this skill and recognize how it can really be a skill that your youth and your children will love. So Sienna, we're going to be talking about disagreeing appropriately. So how do you think that disagreeing appropriately helps you, or how have you seen it help you?
I think in our house it's helped show kids how to be better in a peaceful way.
Yeah, so you can get understood, right? By your parents. They can know what's going on with you,
Your
and
parents can understand in a peaceful way, and you can understand your parents' point of view of what you could do better.
yeah, and that's the biggest thing. So not only do you get understood, but you take the minute to understand other people too, right? We're going to go through the steps of this skill, and I know that you already know them, and so you're a champ at them, and you use them a lot. But honestly, it's nice, isn't it? Because it helps you get your way when you use this skill, disagreeing appropriately. Mm-hmm. And people look on and they're like, that is amazing. So every time my children use the skill, disagree appropriately, they look twice like, wow, what a respectful young person, right? Mm-hmm. What a respectful child, because my children can usually do disagree appropriately even when they're tiny. Even when they're little toddlers, they can start saying the words to disagreeing appropriately. And I know that you started learning it when you were pretty tiny too, right? You were just little. So you've been at it for a long time. So I want to just share with you and with everybody else who might be with us today what some of the benefits are to disagreeing appropriately and how disagreeing appropriately relates to self-government. And then we're going to practice for everybody to see, okay? I'm going to be teaching Sienna this skill, but before I do, hit that subscribe button and don't forget the notification bell. There are so many videos on this channel related to good communication, solving problems in your family. You are not going to want to miss them. Hit that bell right now. All right, Sienna, let's review the steps to disagreeing appropriately. So there are 7 steps to disagreeing appropriately, which sounds like a lot, but when you know the other 4 basic skills that we know, it's not really that bad, right? Yeah. So the step number 1, it's the same step of all the skills. What is step number 1?
Look at the person.
Look at the person. If your child or your youth cannot look at you, then that actually says we've got a problem right now at the very beginning, right? So if your child wants to disagree appropriately, step number 1 is they should be able to look at you and be okay, right? So that brings us to step 2. Step 2 is to keep a calm face, voice, and body. And for some children, you have to actually show them what does that look like, because they don't even know, right? And then step number 3 is that they say that they understand the other person's point of view. Why do you think it's beneficial for the child to say that they understand the parent's point of view?
Because I think then they're understanding this isn't particularly the way that I have to look at it, but this is a way that someone else looks at it and can help me, but I don't have to always see it in the same way.
Sure, everybody has their own way that they see situations, right? They have their own feelings, they have their own experiences, but if you're really going to help somebody understand you, it's a good idea to seek to understand them first, right? So there's a principle, it's called seek to understand, than to be understood. And if you take time in any of your relationships with teachers or grandparents or neighbors or parents, whoever it is, even your siblings, because this skill can be used with siblings too, right? If you take time to seek to understand them before you explain your side, then usually they're more open to listen to your side too, right? So that brings us to the next step. The next step is to share your point of view. So after you've said some things about what you understand about their point of view, then you share your point of view. Then you listen to what they have to say, and then you say, okay, and then you drop the subject. Even when you're disagreeing appropriately with a friend, there could be a time where you maybe feel like, I can't follow what that friend is going to do. I still need to make my own choice, but I can still say, okay, that's where they're coming from. They're not going to see it my way. I can still say, okay. And I can drop the subject. That's how you see it. I don't have to keep pushing and pushing and forcing and forcing.
Enforcing that they see it in your way.
Exactly. So you don't have to feel like you're bending to everybody's wishes all the time. Basically, you're just saying, okay, I see where you're at. Now, when it comes to your parents, you're going to want to maintain that parental authority and the proper respect and make sure that we have that in place. And so you do need to, say that you're going to be okay with whatever it is that they're doing, right? Anyway, so, and then you drop the subject. You don't talk about it anymore. Sometimes, my dad used to always say, don't beat a dead horse, which does seem silly, right? If a horse is dead, do you sit and, why would you shouldn't beat the horse, period. But why would you beat a dead horse? It doesn't make any sense. It's not going to get up. It's dead. It's not going to do anything. And so it's the same concept. At the end of the day, once you've shared your opinion, don't beat a dead horse. Just drop the subject and be good, right? Okay, so we're going to practice this in just a second. But first, I just want to explain a few things about disagreeing appropriately that I think are going to be really beneficial for you to understand. So I want to share just a few points with disagreeing appropriately. Not only is disagree appropriately a great social skill that leads to diplomacy because it teaches to seek to understand than to be understood, but also this is a brain shifting skill. Okay, so when you are disagreeing appropriately, you are describing, okay? It's a describing skill. You're describing where someone is coming from and where you're coming from. This is huge because this means that you go into the front part of the brain, the logical prefrontal cortex part of the brain. And when you do this, you disengage from the emotional part of the brain. This is very powerful. You have a greater success rate of being able to control yourself and govern yourself if you stay in the front brain. So if you train a child, hey, you'll get your way a lot more often when you take the time to be calm and to go to front brain and to do this skill called disagree appropriately, then they're going to stay front brain a lot of the time, and there's just going to be less meltdowns, less attitude problems, less troubles actually for the child because they start out by describing where you are coming from after they've checked themselves for calmness, which is huge. So this is a brain shifting skill. How powerful that we give our children something like that they can use for their whole lives so that they don't have to feel like they are the victims of their emotions. Instead, they can choose which emotions are productive and not by staying in the front brain. Another great thing about the skill disagree appropriately is the focus that it has on calmness. Now, at the very beginning, you look in somebody's eyes, which is establishing a connection, which opens the door to honesty and inspiration. Then you have the calm face, voice, and body. At the end of the skill, you have drop the subject. In the middle there, you have this time where you're explaining yourself, and you start by explaining somebody else's point of view, which is detaching from your own emotion, which makes it so that you can then be more calm when you share your point of view. If you start out by understanding somebody else, then you actually have more freedom to be calm when you are expressing yourself, which then gives your audience a little bit more opportunity to maybe agree with you, which is huge. Disagreeing appropriately is the skill of the 4 basic skills that takes the most time. So there are some children that are very aware of time and they don't even like to do it because they don't want to take the time. But the time is the beautiful thing. You take the time to see where somebody else is coming from and then share your point of view, and before you know it, you don't feel like you're as emotional anymore. Sometimes a person just needs a little bit of time to recognize that they truly can be okay. Now, sometimes we talk about instituting calm down places and things like that. But what if a person, because they had a skill that helped them express themselves in a calm way, was able to just communicate effectively and get calm just because of that communication skill that they had? Well, it's absolutely possible. So the fact that it takes more time is actually a benefit to them, and it's a benefit to the person who's listening to the disagreement as well. So as a parent, I'm going to be thinking, okay, I now need to take the time for my child. I need to really understand where they're coming from. So that time is beneficial for everybody involved in that interaction. All right, Sienna, are you ready to practice?
Yes.
Okay, good. We are going to practice disagreeing appropriately. And I know that you've got this one all the way down. I think that we will say that I'm going to be the parent and you're going to be the child, okay? And then people can also practice. We'll let them know where you're the parent and I'm the child. We could roll reverse just so that you could see my point of view. But we'll just do one interaction for people right now so they can get a feeling of what it's like. So what we're going to do is you're going to start with a question, okay? So let's say that you're going to ask me some question like, something I would say no to, okay? If I was your mom, because we're going to pretend I'm your mom. Okay. Even though I don't look anything like your mom, we're going to pretend. Anyway, and then I'm going to say that I'm going to give you a no answer. Then you're going to say, okay, may I disagree appropriately? That statement, may I disagree appropriately, reminds me, oh, I've got to take the time and listen to my daughter, right? So you're going to say that statement. Then I'm going to listen to you share what you understand from my point of view and your own point of view and listen to what you have to say. And then I'll decide yes or no. And then you drop the subject at the end. Okay, so just a basic interaction. Okay, so go ahead and ask me a question.
Can I go to a concert this weekend?
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun, but I am going to need to give you a no answer. So remember, to accept a no answer, you look at the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say okay or disagree appropriately, which you can always do, and then you drop the subject. No, you can't go to a concert this weekend because we already have plans.
Okay, may I disagree appropriately?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Mom, I understand that we have plans, but don't our plans get done at 6?
Yeah, that's true.
The concert starts at 7.
Oh, so you're saying if we could get home in time, you'd like to still maybe go to the concert. You know what? I would be okay with you going to the concert if I came with you. Would you be okay if I came with you too, and if I was one of the drivers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sure. I'd say let's do that. Let's plan for it. Let's see if we can get some tickets. Great job at disagreeing appropriately. You looked right at me. You kept a calm face, voice, and body. You said that you understood my point of view, and then you shared your point of view. So great job. Okay, so that's how it would go, right? Super simple. Probably the part that people forget the most is to say that they understand the other person's point of view. But that is an important part, right? Because then it stops you from just thinking about yourself long enough to remember, oh yeah, I've got to understand that other person as well. And it gets you in that front part of the brain, which is so good. This is just one of the skills of self-government. There are so many that I would like to share with you. And so I would like to give you a free gift. Since you've stayed with us all the way to the end, I would like to give you my Calm Parenting Toolkit for free. There is a link in the description below this video that is called teachselfgov.com/toolkit. Click on that link and go to that Calm Parenting Toolkit and you can have it for free today. There are lessons about calmness that truly will be life-changing for you. So click on the link now and I'll see you there.